Well, hello everyone, George Rambler Man here. Hope everybody's having a great week. It's the first Saturday in March. The rain has let up. It's a beautiful day here. Great day to be out on my motorcycle. Had a really interesting conversation this morning at a Dunkin Donuts with a policeman. And you might think, well, that's pretty normal, a cop being at a donut shop. But what was interesting that this was a motorcycle officer, and I just kind of struck up a conversation with him. I was on my bike and we were talking about motorcycles, and I was asking him how he got into the, being a motorcycle cop. And I think in some way, and I don't know if you'll admit this, I will, there's a little voice, way back in my head sometimes that says, man, that would have been a great job. Those of us that love to ride motorcycles, being a motorcycle cop, being on your motorcycle every day. And I've thought about that in the past, and of course, I think that would be great. I don't know about people shooting at you, would be so great, but we were talking, and he was talking about how there's kind of a trend in the police forces around the country to do away with the motorcycle officers. And he mentioned an article that he had just read where the St. Paul, Minnesota police department is completely disbanding their motorcycle division. And one of the reasons they gave is it's just become dangerous for the officers to be out in the traffic around Minneapolis and St. Paul due to the distracted drivers. And I don't know if weather has anything to do with it. I mean, I don't know how many motorcycle officers are out there, in the winter, but I thought that was interesting. And we were talking about distracted driving, and he asked me, he said, we go through training on how to be safe on the road on a motorcycle and deal with distracted drivers. And he just asked me, he said, what do you do to pay attention and spot distracted drivers? And I had to think about it for a minute, and I said, well, I'm always trying to keep my distance. If I'm in traffic from the car in front of me, or always looking in my mirrors. And he said, obviously that's one of the things they teach, but he said one thing to really be looking for is if you're following somebody and they tend to be drifting in their lane, or maybe even over in the other lane, or drifting off to the edge of the road once in a while, he said you can almost guarantee that they're looking at their phone, or they're being distracted. And he said I would, he said as a cop, I'm probably going to pull up and close to them, and if I see them doing that, it's a law in Georgia not to do that, I'm going to pull them over. But for you, just on your motorcycle, he said just stay away from those people. Get as far away as you can. And he said if you're on an interstate highway or an expressway and any kind of traffic, he said just be aware there's probably more people looking at their phones than aren't. And he said that's just a fact. And I told him, I said, I understand that. I'm even kind of tempted sometimes myself to, especially if I'm in stop and go traffic, to pull out my phone and check my email or do something. But so anyway, he was saying, some police departments are actually disbanding their motorcycle divisions, and he thinks that's pretty sad. I guess I do too. There's some states and cities I know that have huge motorcycle divisions. I think about the city of Los Angeles in California with their CHIPS officers. I think I read someplace where the city of Los Angeles has like 1,500 motorcycle officers, and the state of California has a lot of officers as well. So what he told me was the benefits of being on a motorcycle is if there is an incident or an accident or something in traffic, you can sometimes a police car will have a hard time getting to the scene, whereas a motorcycle will be able to get there a lot easier. But he said the distracted driving is just a huge problem these days, and I agree with him. And I've had a few close calls myself. I don't know if it was distracted driving or what it was, but it is a problem. I'm heading west on Georgia Highway 53, headed up to, I guess, Highway 5, on back down into Ball Ground and back to where I live. And one of the things I really like about my new home is it's way farther out in the country than I used to be, and I can get on these roads really, really quickly, which is one of the reasons I wanted to move, get out of the suburbs. Alright, just a beautiful day. Glad to be out riding. Hope you guys get a chance to get out and ride today if you can. This is George Ramblin' Man. Everybody have a great week, and if you're out on two wheels, be aware of those distracted drivers, because if you get into an incident with somebody that's distracted and on four wheels, you as the two-wheeler are going to lose. That's just the bottom line on that. All right, everybody, ride safe. Have a great week.